welcome to Talk of the Town. I am Lisa Dascoli.
And I'm not. No, I'm Richard Skipper.
And we are very excited tonight because we decided to do something new with the technology and go on Facebook Live. So not only can you hear us on Broadband Box Office, but you can watch us on Facebook. So I'm very excited. This is it's a good thing I left my.
We just decided this just a few moments ago.
Literally a few moments ago.
I was watching Charlie Rose the other night, and one of the executives from Facebook was talking that this is the latest new trend, and everyone's doing this. And what's really wonderful about the way that this is set up, and I know you can only see me in profile, but
come on closer to me, darling.
You know,
it's
it
okay.
reminds me when Marilyn Monroe was doing the film Bus Stop. They were having, because it was filmed in CinemaScope, they were having a lot of trouble getting her forehead. And they spent hours upon hours upon hours trying to get her forehead. And she says, well, I think it's been established early on that I have one. So they left it as it was because they were trying to get this close-up of her and Don Murray together. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little different. We don't have any guests tonight.
No, so we're just going to talk about things that are important to us. And, I mean, goodness, I've always said if somebody just recorded our phone conversations, that's a show in and of itself.
That's right,
so
that's right.
I'm very confident that those who are listening are going to be entertained. First of all, and I want to bring this up because I don't want the show to get away without talking about it. I know
you've got a low battery.
Oh no.
Yes.
Well, I don't. Oh, my charger's in my pocketbook. So in 1 second, actually, Danny, can you grab my purse? But your show, your first time performing on stage in a while.
That's right.
May 25th.
May 25th. I'm going to be doing a show at the Triad. And
I'm a terrible person because I have not gotten my tickets yet, only because I just have not had the opportunity to.
But I'm surprised. You know what I really love about the way this is set up is daily I'm getting a list of who is actually buying tickets, and I'm doing drawings based on the number of people who buy tickets, and so each day there may be a drawing, so there's an added incentive to go ahead and get your tickets. But I'll tell you a little bit about the show. The show is called Richard Skipper Celebrates, and the premise of the show is that each day we will go in and whatever date it is that we're booked to do the show, we will celebrate all of the gems that day held. And the first show that we're doing is on May 25th, and Beverly Sills was born that day, and Dixie Carter was born that day, Frank Oz, who of course worked on the Muppets, and it was the day that on May 25th, 1961, that John Kennedy announced that within 10 years, man would be walking on the moon. So it's the beginning of moon exploration. And I have some phenomenal guests that are going to be in the show. Adam Shapiro and Carol Scarambus, who actually appeared with Beverly Sills. But it's going to be a combination of a talk show and a variety show. Well, and I'm taking all of the elements that I have learned about up to this point in my life, and I'm bringing them all together in one evening.
Well, we're getting some comments. So, Richard, I'm going to leave that to you because I cannot see. I don't have my glasses on. And
so, Michael Austin says, so you come crashing back to Broadway, but Broadway don't go in for booze and dope. That's a quote from Helen Lawson. As you all know, we lost the wonderful Patty Duke last week. And, of course, that's from one of my favorite movies, which is Valley of the Dolls. But I think that now I'm still learning about Facebook Live. And as we're doing this, all the comments, everyone's able to read the comments just as they would in a normal news feed. Am I correct?
When did you learn about Facebook Live?
Just within the last 24 hours.
Okay. You know when I learned about Facebook Live?
Just a few moments ago.
That's
just
right.
A few moments ago. So, one of the things that I would like to talk about is on Tuesday night at the Laurie Beachman Theater. One of my favorite entertainers is going to be performing, and I hope he's watching right now. That's Jim Speak, who has a new CD. He just won the MAC Award for Recording of the Year for a show called Sweet Life. And Pat, if you can cue up, I'd like everyone to hear the title track from this song. And the show, of course, is a celebration of the CD. And take a listen.
Awesome.
I'm gonna have a sweet life, sweetest life you've ever seen.
Sweet life, gonna have a sweet life.
I'm gonna be a farmer, plowing the fields in the morning sun. I'll have 1,000,000 horses, take me a ride when the work is done. I'm gonna have a sweet life, sweetest life you've ever seen.
Sweet life,
And when the day is over, gonna go to sleep in a field of green. Mama, can you hear me? Mama, can you hear me? Daddy, do you know what I mean? Mama, can you hear me? Mama, can you hear me? Daddy, do you know what I mean?
he's gonna have a sweet life, such a sweet life. Sweet life, oh, he's gonna have a sweet life.
I'm gonna be an actor, playing a part in a light of gold. I'm gonna make a lot of money, gonna spend it all before I get too old. I'm gonna have a sweet life, sweetest life you've ever seen.
Sweet life,
And when the day is over, gonna go to sleep in a field of green. Mama, can you hear me? Mama, can you hear me? Daddy, do you know what I mean? Mama, can you hear me? Mama, can you hear me? Daddy, do you know what I mean? Mama, I'm gonna have a sweet life, sweetest life you've ever seen. And when the day is over, gonna go to sleep in a field of green. I'm gonna have a sweet life, sweetest life you've ever seen. And when the day is over, gonna go to sleep in a field of green. Mama, can you hear me? Daddy, do you know what I mean?
And that once again is Jim Speak, and he will be at the Laurie Beachman on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock show. And I will be there if you'd like to join our party. Please go to my website, which is richardskipper.com. All the information is there. You'll be able to click on Jim's banner ad and order tickets for the show. So
Very
we hope
good.
that you can join us.
Are you asking me if I could join you, or
Well,
I
anyone,
mean, you-
anyone out there?
well, yes, anybody out there, please.
Betsy Robin Schwartz, for example.
There you go. How you doing, Betsy? I wish I could, but I am knee deep in rehearsals at this moment. I am directing another show. I'm directing A Funny Thing Happened on the way to the Forum with the Strollers of Maplewood. And so proud of this cast. So proud of this cast. They are funny. They are talented. They can sing. They can dance. I'm blessed.
Now, when is the show opening?
It opens May 5th, and that's at the Bergdorf Center in Maplewood, New Jersey. And you can go to thestrollers.com, and that's their website for information. And it runs until the 21st of May, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. And you know, I'm forever, if you've listened to this show, I'm forever going on about my passion for local theater and just how wonderful it is and the respect it should be given. And this this cast is no less of an example, I will tell you that, because for the $25 that it will cost for your ticket, you couldn't get better entertainment anywhere.
Now, why did you pick this particular show? I know about the history of the show, but why this show?
Actually, I'll be very honest, the show kind of picked me because the Strollers had it on their season. They had a different director picked out who unfortunately couldn't continue. I think he had some health issues. And I jumped on the opportunity. I said, "Oh, I'll do it." I just finished a wonderful run of Spam-A-Lot in Hackensack over the summer. And I think to finish answering your question, I like comedies. I like to make people laugh. There's so many things to cry about in this world. Let's laugh a little bit.
I agree with you. And when you're directing a show with the history, like A Funny Thing Happened, how do you come up with something different that will, of course, honor the original productions, but bring your own stamp to it?
I am notorious for having my own fingerprints on things, and I do pay respect to the original. I always do. I feel that it was successful for a reason, so I'm going to honor that. And it's a combination of playing to my actors' strengths, because each of them brings something wonderful to the table. I'll call him out on my actor, Paul White, who's going to be playing Hero. He has a delightful sense of comedy and physical comedy, so I am giving him a lot of opportunity to
Now, were you
play
involved
physical.
in the casting process as
I
well?
was.
And how do you, once you get your cast in place, how do you begin to approach the directorial process?
For me, I will always say I'm an actor at heart. I will always be an actor first. So I approach it from the actor's point of view. All right, let's talk about the character and where is this character from and what does he talk like and what does he walk like, and we'll start that. First things first for me is the interaction to each other. So I always start with a read through and let the people involved in the production start to know each other and hear each other and like each other, and that all kind of manifests into the product. And I see it already that they're joking with each other while we're between rehearsal.
Now, this is, for lack of a better term, community theater. So as your cast, they all have other jobs as well.
Yes, they do.
So how long is the rehearsal process?
I like to rehearse about 5 to 6 weeks, and I like to do it for that length of time. This way, first of all, just as a human being, I don't like to rush. If I rush with anything in my life,
Well, it's like a souffle.
there you go, I will flip out. So I like to keep things at a nice pace. Nobody's killing themselves. We can rehearse 3 days a week as opposed to 5, and that gives everybody. Then it's enjoyable all the way around.
And are you a stickler for getting people off book in terms of the rehearsal process? Are you having a hard time with that?
No, actually, the opposite. My stage manager was the one who was kind of twisting my arm and saying, "Come on, when do you want them off book? When do you want them off book?" So I finally gave her a date, and I said, this is the date that I want them off book.
And it is a farce. So
Yes.
the earlier they get off the book.
The more their arms can move,
Right,
and that's
right.
exactly it.
So where are you in the process right now?
Right now, we just finished learning all the music. We just finished all the dance. Tomorrow we'll be cleaning up all the dance numbers. Then when we reconvene on Tuesday, we will start running the acts.
Are tickets on sale now?
Tickets are on sale, so
And
yes.
how can people get tickets?
Thestrollers.com.
Now talk a little bit about that, because I'm going to queue up our next song.
Okay.
And our next artist.
And there's other people, but you have to read them to me. What does this say? Oh my goodness.
Well, let's see. Michael, you're both almost out of frame.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael. Thank you for telling us.
Tell him I prefer that.
It's a little difficult. This is the first time we've tried this, and yes, we'll get better at it, I'm sure. Mark D'Amico. Mark D'Amico's commenting, "Hi, Mark. How are you?" I, saw all the wonderful pictures on Facebook, and so Richard is now queuing up the next song for us. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is a first-time experimental thing that we're doing, and would really love your feedback. Would really love to know what you think about doing the podcast on Facebook, and any commentary. That would be awesome. That would be great. I think I'm going to have to hold this up. I think that's going to be our solution to that. Michael's saying something else. I can't read it.
Oh, you can't read it.
I don't have my glasses on. What does it say?
Remote director. Michael, will you be here next time to do that for us?
I'm sure he will. What's that?
This is from Christine
Seisler. Hi, Chris.
And it says, I'm watching you, Lisa and Richard. Very, very cool. But yes, make sure you're on camera. Here we are. So anyway, I want to play another track. This is another MAC Award winner this year, Sally Darling. And she won the Hanson Award. And she has a show called Totally Noel, about Noel Coward, with a little bit of Sally. And I don't think this is a Noel Coward song, but you'll get a sense of who Sally Darling is. Pat?
This gig's an echo of that time with Buddy Greco when we did the Desert Inn in '59. The dancing girls were clunky, the drummer was a junkie, but we pulled the act together and we killed 'em every time. That having been said, somehow I think that things are worse here. That guy and his head are gonna need some kind of nurse here. It's like a friggin' curse here. Things could be better, so sue me, it's the truth. Things could be better around here. It's an attitude problem, seen it a million times. I was subbing with Stan Kenton in this seedy club in Trenton when I heard my third divorce had just gone through. I could have torn my heart out, but instead I got my chart out and I gave them all a lesson in the way to play the blues. That having been said, something is even more morose here. Just looking ahead's making me feel real gross here. We aren't even close here. Things could be better. You bet your ass they could. Things could be better around here. Could they get any worse? I don't think so. I've played for hoofers who can't hoof. I've played for tone-deaf singers. And once, when I insulted Frank, I played with broken fingers. I've paid my dues, I know the blues. Of this I can assure you. So now I'll say it one last time, 'cause I don't wanna bore you. Things could be better. They really could be better. Things could be better around. You know what Kate Smith used to say about a bad rehearsal? Usually means a bad performance. Here. And you're back.
Okay, and we're back.
And that was Sally Darling, and she will be at Don't Tell Mama, and she's coming up on the 17th. Okay. And all the information's on my website, richardskipper.com.
No, that's April 17th.
That's right.
Yes, April 17th. Just want to clarify that. So, we have so many things coming up in the next few weeks. And what else is... you were just at the MAC Awards.
I was at the MAC Awards. It's trying to reconnect. I was at the MAC Awards. Again, we are experimenting tonight. This is the first time that we've tried to do this. But I was at the MAC Awards. They were on March 29th. And for those of you who don't know, the MAC Awards are the Manhattan Association of Cabarets and Clubs. They were celebrating their 30th year. So it was a really great time.
So it's 30 years, that's all?
30 years.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right, so we're trying desperately to fix this, and I don't know if it went out completely or what. Can you get that?
So we'll just keep talking until they get us
See, you
back
know
on
what?
the air.
The bottom line of this all is, and I will be very honest, technology and I are not friends. And
Well, you have to embrace that, Lisa. It's the way that we are in the 21st century.
I understand that. I get it. Pat Maruki has been my friend for years and years and years, and he understands my hysteria with.
Now, for those of you who do not know who Pat Maruki is,
He is our
he's like the
fearless
Wizard of Oz.
leader.
He's the man behind the curtain, pulling all the levers and making sure that we are on. But we've got to talk about the fact that we are under fluorescent lighting, and there has to be something done about that, Pat.
He's just looking at us like, really? Okay.
So I think we're going back on the air.
well,
We're
there's a
we're
slight
on our
delay.
side, which is fine.
Okay. And Pat, you should have seen me the first time I actually even got an iPhone. I was so resistant to change. I had to ask, at the time I was working with middle school children, and I went up to them and I said, "You need to help me. I don't understand how to work this thing." And bless their little souls, they sat and very patiently taught me what to do.
Oh, here we are.
Here we are again. Okay. And we're back up on Facebook for those of you who have been watching. And thank you for tuning in. I think that's
And don't
one-
take this as an example of what all of our
Oh,
shows
no,
are
no,
like.
no. We're going to be. If you ever want to hear any of our archive shows, just go to broadbandboxoffice.com/talk of the town. And you can hear any of the archive shows. And we've had, I was thinking about this the other day. We have had some incredible guests
That's
on
right.
this show. And some people that are just so talented and so gracious with their talent. It's just, it's been very satisfying to me to just meet and talk with
How long
them.
have I been doing the show now?
I'm going to say it's April, at least a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about Elizabeth. Is this Jude? Julia.
She is one of the very talented ladies in my show forum. She is one of the courtesans. Beautiful, just so beautiful you want to punch her in the face, but she's really, really nice, so you can't. And yeah, she's joined our cast, and I'm very thankful to have her along to do that.
Now, how did you get involved with this company to begin with?
I actually, as an actor, because previous to this, they were doing a production of The Shadow Box, and I jumped on the opportunity to come and audition for that because I don't know if anybody knows the background, the story of the Shadow Box. It's a Pulitzer Prize-winning play, but it is about people who are suffering with terminal cancer, and each of them are coming from a very different point of view. And for me, it was how I was going to process the emotions of losing my sister to colon cancer last year.
Wow.
And it was how I had to do it. I wanted, and many people said to me, "Are you crazy? You know."
Well, that's what I would think. How do you process living through this and then going on stage each night and living through it all again?
Because it gave me the excuse/opportunity to go out there and cry like a baby and throw a fit and just get everything out. And I didn't have to apologize for it. And it felt really good. So,
Well, that's one of the magic things about what theater is
acting.
all about.
Yes.
And especially if you're able to immerse yourself in a role. There's so many stories of people who have had tragic existence. I wrote a blog just a few days ago about Joy Lansing. And I don't know if that name means anything to you, but Joy Lansing was a beautiful, glamorous star from the late 50s, 60s. She was very much in the vein of Jane Mansfield and Mamie Van Doren. And to try to keep herself looking youthful and everything, she started doing silicone injections, and it killed her, and it took her life, and she died very, very tragically and young. And but the thing is that you never saw that in any of her work. She was out there. She was doing what she does, and but you can go to my blog, richardskipper.blogspot.com, and read my interview with Alexis Hunter, who was her partner. And so she was able to share things with me. It's all in the book. It's called A Body to Die For. And I recommend everybody read this book. It's a very good book.
I would be interested in reading that book because also as a woman in the industry, so much emphasis is placed upon looks.
And it's interesting because another book that I want to recommend that I'm reading now is called Madeline Kahn, Living the Music. And this is by William V. Madison. And we were at a reading the other night, and it was very funny. Joanna Gleason was on the panel, and she told a great story that when Madeline Kahn was doing on the 20th Century, and she was fired from the show. She was having all kinds of problems with the producers, and they ran into her on the street one night, and they said, "Well, how's it going?" She said, "I'm a meatball on the treadmill of life. I have no say in the matter. I'm just going along for the ride." And and she was going through all these horrible problems when she was in What's Up, Doc, one of the funniest movies ever made. She was very concerned that she was cast because she thought that Peter Bogdanovich saw her as Eunice Burns, as opposed to being an actress playing that role. And it was very difficult for her getting through this, in the way that she felt that the world was perceiving her. And of course, being a huge fan of Madeline Kahn, the world was loving her. But she had these demons that she was dealing with.
And very, that's difficult. That is very difficult. And I can empathize as well as sympathize, because it is it's very difficult for me when, we've discussed, I'm on both sides of the table. I have acted as well as direct, and it hurts me like anything when I have to look at an actress, specifically an actress, and think about just what she physically looks like.
Well, it's in the spotlight this week with Amy Schumer. Because Amy...
love that.
Well, Amy was, for those of you who don't know, Glamour magazine did a story on what they referred to as plus-size women, and they included Amy Schumer, and Amy Schumer does not consider herself a plus-size woman.
And she's not, because a size, what did she say, 4 or 6 or 6 or 8, or either way, it doesn't matter.
I don't even know what that means. I'm going to be honest with you. What does it mean to be a size 4 or a size 6?
It's small, Richard. I can tell you this. You are not a heavy person if you are those sizes because of the way the clothing is made. I can tell you this. And, plus what? I mean, I don't understand. What does that mean? That you add the numbers together? What plus? That's ridiculous. And we've got to stop doing this to people and just referring to them as a number.
And with Kerry Washington, she was on the cover of a magazine this week,
yes.
and she's very upset because she said that as gorgeous as she looked, and she's gorgeous naturally, but on this picture, she said the woman that was on the cover of this magazine is not the same woman that she sees when she looks in the mirror.
And it's not, because I looked at the pictures as well, and she was she had a very valid point, and she was right. They years and years ago, if you recall, the cover of TV Guide had Oprah Winfrey sitting on a pile of money because they were, touting how wealthy Oprah had become. But it wasn't
she wealthy?
But it was not her body. It was not her body. It was a slimmed down version, and it really, a lot of people took umbrage to that because for all of her success, it was still about her physique.
Well, for those of you who are just tuning in or something, we're on Talk of the Town. Normally, it's just a podcast. Not
But
that
we
it's just a
not
podcast.
ever chat, but we took it up a notch tonight.
So tonight we decided, in celebration of the new Facebook Live, that we would try this new technology tonight. Here we are. So we see that your comments, Catherine Dascoli O'Connell, is that your sister?
No, that is my aunt.
Okay. And where does she fit into the picture? Is she a favorite aunt?
I won't answer that.
No.
This is my other answer on
but
Facebook as
what
well.
can you tell us about her?
My Aunt Catherine, and this is a wonderful story. She is my father's sister, my father's youngest sister, and she was always a dancer. That was her passion. She wanted to be a professional dancer, and she had an opportunity to audition for the Rockettes, and because of family issues and attitudes, she was never able to fully pursue that. And this past summer, and I hope she's okay with me, I put her in my production of Spamalot, and she was dancing.
Now, I saw Spamalot, so
Yeah,
which role did she play?
She was one of my ensemble ladies, and
She was the one who stole focus from everyone else.
yes.
Okay, I know who she is.
Now, not for anything, but my aunt is older. She's. I don't want to say older. That's so hard for me to say. But
Is she older than you?
She's older than me,
Okay.
and she kept up with all of the 20 and 30 somethings in that cast quite well. Thank you very much. And she did the show justice.
Well, it was a great production. I had
you.
never seen Spamalot. I never got Monty Python. I never did. And so I didn't go to see the show on Broadway.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed the production. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
And it was a very well oiled machine. The cast was wonderful. Everything was great about the show. And I would be interested in seeing other productions based on your production that I saw of the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yes, that is my aunt, and I'm very proud of her. And she
Now,
held her own. It was
but was getting her? Did she approach you and say, "I'd love to do
No.
this," or did you go after her?
No, I went after her. It started with my choreographer had a knee issue the night of callbacks, and I said, I need you to come and help me out. I need you to dance captain for me. She said, okay, so she went along with my crazy, my own brand of crazy, and she came and then at the end of the night, I said, I need you to be in the ensemble. What? I need you to be in the ensemble. You think I can? I'm asking you, aren't I? And put her right in the middle of it. And
Well, what advice would you give to people who are living in the area who would like to get involved in community theater who have never done it before?
oh, that is a wonderful question, Richard, and it's actually something I want to speak out more about. First of all, find out about the theater. Find out what they need. Maybe you're not ready to go on stage yet, but certainly there's so many aspects of the theater that need to be there, and they're all important, because the person helping with the costumes is equally as important as the person who is doing any other aspect of the show. I mean, it's
Well,
such
there've
a...
been, excuse me for interrupting, but there've been studies about kids in school productions
Yep.
because basically what it does is it creates a sense of community.
I absolutely agree.
And kids learn to come together for the common goal of creating a project or a product that's going to be presented at the end of the semester or whatever. And there are so many schools right now, and they're good productions.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. There's been several instances, and I'm not thinking of them off the top of my head, where people who, well, the one that jumps up most notably is the young lady who was in The Wiz Live. She was out of Cranford Community Players. She was out of, so there's a lot to be said.
And right now there are auditions happening for Hairspray,
Yes.
which is going to be the next NBC musical.
Okay.
And I'm sure that there's some unknown actress out there who's about to have a major break.
I bet you, and I bet you she will have broken her, her gums on the local theater circuit.
You
If
think
I-
she's going to come out of New Jersey
I hope so. I'm gonna
or
put it
New
that way.
York
I hope
or South
so.
Carolina?
I'm sorry, but I'm hoping for New Jersey. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta. But to finish answering that question, as far as people joining up, there's always people needed to create these productions, and there's always people needed to be in the ensemble and be part, and every part is I always speak biblically. There's that scripture that says that the hand is not any more important than the foot, and that always spoke to me regarding local theater, because every piece is important. And then you start building your resume, you start learning, you start to become accustomed to how things happen, and believe it or not, you will rise up. You will rise up, and there will be that role out there that's right for you.
Now, do you remember your first audition?
Professional or local?
Either.
My gosh, I remember both
Mm-hmm.
very, very vividly. Which one to hear about?
The first, the very first.
Well, I've been doing theater since I was in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew I wanted
That
to
was
be.
10 years ago.
Thank you, darling. And I remember it didn't really occur to me, because all I knew is I liked to read. I liked to read out loud. My family tolerated me because I would tell them to sit down and I was going to put on a show for them. Because my grandmother's kitchen had this, what we would call a proscenium arch. So therefore that was the audience. This was this, so yeah. So I remember doing I just did it. I didn't really understand what I was doing. I knew that I could read well. I knew the teacher said to me, "Now read it with feeling, like you do every." Okay,
So what was the first audition?
Oh my goodness, it was a school play, and I honestly don't remember the name of the school play, but I remember that.
Did you get the part?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then professionally, the first professional audition, I did a lot of auditions in New York City, and the one that I got closest to was for this movie called Jersey Girl,
Mm-hmm.
and I was up against some actress named Jamie Gertz. Ever hear of her?
No,
No.
I'm joking. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
So,
So Leda Torres just joined us.
hi, Leda.
And what do you want to say to Leda? And is she one of your actresses?
Actually, yes, Leda and I have had an opportunity to share the stage together, and she is a wonderful actress and singer and dancer and stage manager. So there's an example of somebody who also does all aspects of theater.
Now, mind you, any of you who are joining in the conversation, if you have any questions that you want to ask, just type them out. We'll see them and we'll
Answer
answer
them.
your questions. What do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about community theater? You have a wonderful expression that you talk about the word amateur
Yes.
and where that comes from.
Yes, and I'm very stern about that. The word amateur is based on the amour, love, for the love of. And these are people who, as you said before, we all have day jobs. We all are doing something else, and then we go to rehearsal. And then we, knock ourselves out learning dance numbers and music and lines and all of that.
Now, you won't believe who just joined us.
Who's that?
Peggy Eason.
Oh,
Peggy, can you hear us, Peggy? Just type out what you want to say, Peggy, and we'll be able to respond to you. We are not able to hear you on the other end,
But we can read.
obviously, but we can read. We're straining a little bit because the camera's a little bit. The phone device is further away than it should be. We need cue cards,
Yeah,
to be able to read this. But Peggy,
a bigger monitor,
bigger
that would
monitor.
help as well. But to answer your question about what I resent more than anything else is the misconception that local theater is schlock, that it's bad, that it's just not good. And quite honestly, and I will always love Peter Felicia for saying this on our interview a couple months back.
which is archived. You can go and listen to it.
Yes, when he said, I've seen local productions that were every bit as good as a professional one, and I've seen professional ones that were absolutely dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter. It's the quality of talent that's brought in, and he also mentioned the fact that the people that are doing this secondary, I don't want to say hobby because that's not even a fair term, but in addition to a day job, are the people who just, for whatever their reasons, they wanted to start a family, they wanted to have a steady paycheck, they didn't want to travel all over the place. And that gave me, actually, when he said that, it gave me great peace. It really did. It validated me a lot.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Peggy Eason.
Oh,
since
let's. And
since
I
she's here.
love her, and let's talk about her.
She's the chocolate diva.
Yes, she is.
And she was nominated for a MAC Award for Best Female Vocalist last year. She should have won. But a lot has happened. Peggy and I worked together. And over the course of the past year, she was picked as one of the top 10 cabaret performers to look out for. She's received rave reviews. She's a phenomenal singer.
Yes.
Go to her website, which is peggyeason.com, and learn a little bit more about her. But as I said, she's the chocolate diva.
And can we take it to the next level? See, Peggy, for me, I love her as a person, but she also, whenever I look at Peggy, I always say to myself, well, you have no excuse, my dear. You have no excuse, because Peggy is blind, and
But it's not a handicap.
But she actually said to me once, we were talking about something or other, and she said, I may be blind, but that doesn't mean I can't see.
That's right.
And I was like, wow, I like that. I liked that a lot. Her demeanor, her can-do attitude, she just, that is not anything that's like a, I don't even know. It's to her, it's just one of them things, and it's not something that's going to stop her.
And we've got to get her back on the stage very, very soon.
Oh, yes.
Great things are happening with her, so, be on the lookout for her.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, why don't we play a little Peggy Eason? You keep talking.
That would be wonderful.
And I'll go and get a track for her.
Okay, he does this. He's leaving me on my own over here. But yes, Peggy Eason, one of the most inspirational people I have ever met in my life. Just a beautiful person inside and out. And wait to hear her song. Wait to hear her sing. We set up? I'll have to keep talking. Okay. I know, this is... There we go.
Give me a song and I'm ready to sing. That's when I'm strong because singing's my thing. Music and I are as natural as apples and pie. I love it, that's why. Some people know they're supposed to go far. Some people know when they're ready to start. I'm one of those who gets better the longer she goes. Broadway, Broadway, look out, here I come. Like it or not, I'm grabbing my spot. Hey, Red Rover, Peggy's coming over. Broadway, LA, Nashville, or Big D. Light up the stage, there's a new rage, and it's me. When I was 6, I started getting my kicks by making music. My teacher noticed me one day. I wound up starring in a play. Year after year, I worked to plan my career. My world was music. That's why I know there's just one place to go. And so, look at this smile. You can see that it's real. Part of my style is my sexy appeal. You're gonna roar as I open my musical store. Get ready for more. Some people know they belong at the top. Some people know they can't possibly flop. I fool the flame and I'm ready for fortune and fame. Broadway, Broadway, I've paid lots of dues. Out of my way, I'm having my day. Once you know me, SRO me. Broadway, Broadway, I just can't go wrong. As of right now, I'll show you how with a song. As of right now, I'll show you how with a song. Look out, Broadway, here I come.
I love her voice.
Oh, I do too. Peggy Eason once again. And Alex Vecchio just joined us.
And Alex is another very talented lady. I've had the opportunity to know. She was a teacher at Heritage Middle School in Livingston, where I work. And yeah, she's a wonderful lady and very talented. And I'm hoping she's out there auditioning like mad right now because it's what her hope is.
Now, what kind of an actress who would you compare her to?
Oh my goodness. Well, I heard one of her bucket list roles is Christine in Phantom of the Opera, and I so see that. So I mean, that's the type if you know the play at
Now,
all.
is she pursuing it as
Yes.
a professional career?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
great.
Yes.
So, any of our listeners out there who have any productions of Phantom of the Opera coming up, Alex, send your resume in and we'll get you out there.
Yes. Very good. So, all right. So, tell me more about the Mac Awards because we got distracted from that. Who else? What was one of the high points of the night?
Amanda McBroom, who wrote the Rose. She performed 3 songs, and at BB King's, you could hear a pin drop.
Wow.
It was just amazing. And I got the chance to talk to her after the show. And I went up to her and I said, "Hello, it's Richard Skipper." And she said, "I know who you are," which blew my mind. But she refers to her songs as mini movies. And if you get a chance to really listen to her music, she has a way of telling a story. And there are through lines. She doesn't repeat a lot in her music. Listen to the lyrics for The Rose.
Yeah, now that you're saying that, I'm thinking to that.
She says they refer to her as the person who writes without bridges. Because
I like that.
With a bridge, you're always going back to reiterate the message that you're trying to get across.
Right.
And that doesn't happen in her music.
What else has she written?
Well, Dieter's Prayer. Last night I went to see Wendy Sherrill at Don't Tell Mama, and one of the songs that Wendy, the lament of always being on a diet. And
I love this. I'm
Dear
intrigued.
Lord, the Dieter's Prayer. Look Amanda McBroom up and
think that's a
become
great
familiar
idea.
with her music.
Okay.
One of my favorite songs, which she did sing at the Mac Awards, is a song called Wheels. And you start out as a child with the wheels of a stroller, and then it's the wheels of a bicycle, a tricycle, and a bicycle, and then at the end of your life, you're
In a wheelchair.
with a wheelchair. So it's an amazing song. So
That's
I
very
highly recommend
interesting.
her.
Yes, I would.
But I
like
would
to
say
look
that she
more.
was the true highlight of the evening. I was a presenter, so that was another highlight. you know.
Okay.
I love doing that, and
What did you present?
well, actually, they did something a little different this year. They did, in celebration of the show of the year, like they do with the best films in the Academy Awards or numbers from all of the best nominated shows for musicals. Throughout the evening, they had different people come out and talk a little bit about the show that was nominated.
Wow.
And then they showed video clips from that show.
That is wonderful.
And I was there to talk about Rick Skye as Liza Minnelli and Tommy Femi as Judy Garland. They do a show called Judy and Liza Together Again.
And Oh, they do. Okay. Yes, I know both of those names, but I didn't know that they worked together. So that's nice to know
And
as well.
so, it's very interesting because Lenny Watts, who is the director,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote to him and I said, is there anything specific that you want me to say? And he says, well, just send me what you're going to say. And I go, well, I wing it.
Okay.
I just get out there and I talk about it. And he went, oh, Lord, please call me. And I said, have I ever let you down yet? Because, and you know this about me, it's always about celebrating the artist. And so rather than having something that was rehearsed or something that I thought about and thought about and thought about, different things ran through my head. And obviously when you're out there in front of an audience and you're working without a net, there are thoughts running through your head.
Sure.
There are specific things that you want to mention. The fact that between the two of them, they've won many awards over the years and why they were nominated now and what's happening with the show. So all those things I was able to get across and I spoke from the heart. So that was a highlight for me.
Well, one thing I will say that anybody who doesn't know your work, and I speak about you all the time,
That's why my ears burn so much.
but it's always what I love about you is that you are so focused on the positive, and you really like your Richard Skipper celebrates, and it's always about what is good, what is to be enjoyed, what is to be touted in a positive way. And I love that. That's something that, as I said to you, as we said earlier, I want to do. I like comedies because there's enough to cry about in this world. Let's
Well,
laugh.
I want to be the antidote to what our culture has turned into.
Yes.
I saw the trailer for the new Star Wars film,
Okay.
which is very violent, and I'm not a big fan of that type of that genre.
Okay.
So I have to be honest and say to our listeners and our viewers that I've never seen any of the Star Wars movies. So I don't know if all of them are violent, or if it's just that that's the culture that we're living in now.
I think that's what it has evolved into because I did see the original Star Wars, the original one, and I don't recall it being profoundly violent. I don't. But you are right. Our culture has gone to a very violent extreme. And I'm going to be honest with you, Richard. I know what you're talking about. That trailer was premiered on Good Morning America. And at that time of the morning, I flip my channel on to watch Joel Osteen before I go to work because some encouragement and some positivity and some hope is really how I set my intention of the day.
Now, Al Motram just joined us.
Hi, Al.
Now, who is Al?
Al is a wonderful success story of a gentleman who did not pursue acting all of his life, but in his retirement decided to. And he was one of the actors in a show that I directed, All Shook Up, and he is working nonstop now. He has done some internet commercials. He's done a few things on the Discovery Channel. So it's so nice to, it's just such a message that with actors, there's no expiration date. You
And
can
Annie Burns
Annie Burns, a lovely lady that I
just
work
joined
with,
us.
and one of my coworkers at the middle school, and just a very positive and nice person to be around.
Now, for anyone who's just joining us, once again, we'll explain what's happening tonight. We do a podcast on the, is it the first Friday? Is this the first?
Well, normally it's supposed
We
to be
changed it to Friday nights.
forever now.
I think so.
Have we?
I think so.
All right.
Okay.
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 We'll just have to tell Pat
But
that.
we're here once a month, and it's audio.
Yes.
And so tonight, in celebration of the fact of this new technology called Facebook Live, we decided to go live with our viewers. And you know all these names because we're using your
My page.
your Facebook page to do this the first time. For some reason, we couldn't get it set up on my page. And
Yeah, well, technology and don't ask me. If Mr. Pat couldn't figure it out, then don't even ask me. But
because this
but-
is your phone, that's why you look better than I do tonight.
okay, thank
Okay.
you. Well, thank you. I'm just happy I left my makeup on. I look forward to having your phone as well and having more people see this. Please comment, tell us what you think, share this podcast with whoever. Would love we'd love to know what you think and what you would like to hear more about. And I'm always looking for different local theater groups. Tell me what's going on. I will be happy to talk about your show and get the word out that way. So, and you as well, Richard. You have so many wonderful things going on. So I think this is something I want to do again.
I hope that we can continue with this. I do want to mention, going back to something that you were saying earlier, I write a blog.
Yes, you do.
Called Richard Skipper Celebrates. And if you go to richardskipper.blogspot.com, or you can go to my website, richardskipper.com, click on the orange B, which stands for blog. That'll take you right to the blog, and you can read. I celebrate artists. I say now that I'm bridging the past with the present. When I started out in the business, I had a wonderful mentor named Florence Epps, and she said, when you're doing theater or anything that you're doing, it behooves all of us to honor those that have gone before us and to celebrate those who have paved the way for what we do.
Yeah.
And there's so many people in this business who are forgotten. And, and unless we take the time, and each day with my blog, I acknowledge people who were born on that day, passed away on that day. And that's where the idea for this show that I'm going to be doing at the Triad came about. I hope that everyone who's listening tonight will join us at the Triad, May 25th.
May 25th. What time?
8 o'clock show.
Okay.
It's a 90-minute show.
Okay.
And it's going to be a combination variety show / talk show. You can either go to the Triad, or you can go to my website, click on the Starburst, and order your tickets. And we've got a lot of surprises that night. Carol Demas, who is the original Sandy. It's her birthday. We're going to be celebrating her birthday that night. And we've got a lot of surprises in store for that. And I've got a surprise guest, which I cannot tell anyone about.
Because then it wouldn't be a surprise.
It wouldn't be a surprise. So we've got a lot coming up.
I am very excited. I hope you give me a front row seat because I'm thrilled about this. I have it on my calendar. I just haven't gotten around to getting the tickets yet. I'm sorry. That I will do. I'm going to be there. I will be there with bells on.
But what I want to do with this show is I want to combine everything that I've learned in my career up to this point and bring all of those elements together. And it's a celebration. It's not angst, all of that. We want to leave outside. As I mentioned earlier, Beverly Sills was born on that day. I have two phenomenal singers, Anna Bergman and Carol Scarembas. And Carol actually worked with Beverly Sills.
Yes.
And so in addition to them coming out and singing these songs that were associated with her, we're going to sit and we're going to talk about Beverly Sills. Leslie Orfino is going to be doing a tribute to Dixie Carter, who was born on that date as well.
Okay.
And John Wallowich, who was her musical director, was a very dear friend of mine. And unfortunately, I never got a chance to meet Dixie Carter, but I did see her on Broadway at Masterclass. And of course, Designing Women is one of my favorite shows.
Of course, yes. So many wonderful things to look forward to, and I hope that it's not a one-time only thing. Has somebody else joined
Bill
us?
Kaufman just
Hi,
joined us.
Bill. Wonderful local theater person, and actually, Bill just had cataract surgery today. So I hope you are feeling well, my friend.
So we must look incredible to you right now.
Yes, really. But actually, it's been an hour. Our time has passed. Our time is done. I hope you all enjoyed this Facebook Live version of Talk of the Town. We're going to do it again. And please come see Richard at the Triad. Come see Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum in Maplewood.
And please, with both of us, either on my Facebook page, you can tag me on Facebook, or on Lisa's page, and please put your comments about tonight and what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to see, what you wouldn't like to see, and we'll try to answer all of your desires and wishes for the next show.
Okay. Thank you so much. I am Lisa Dascoli.
And I'm not.
And my wonderful friend and co-host Richard Skipper, coming from broadbandboxoffice.com in Nutley, New Jersey. We'll see you again.
Thank you. We are signing out.